Welcome back from the parts unknown. The Clem and Claw Show, second and fourth Mondays, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 8:30 Central Time, 6:30 on the West Coast or the left coast. We are back with a special edition, people. So with that being said, a lot of things happened,
Special edition.
but that's about it. How's things going on your end?
Yeah, it's good to be back. Like I said, back to back weeks actually. For us, just making up for lost time and
Yep.
inventory and things of that nature. But yeah, I got a little bit of a sinus cold. Just running around um over the weekend, and so yeah. So
Don't
if
feel
I
too
sound
bad.
stuffy,
That was me. That was me two
not
weeks
my
ago
normal
when we were
self.
trying to do the show. So don't feel too bad. That was me 2 weeks ago. So I understand your sinus
Yeah,
go. That was me.
yes, yes. Yeah, so let's get into some old business real quick while we can. I know that um, we have, what is it? Little Rampage. She will be pretty much like what we said last week. She will be hosting a fight. She needs a few more sponsors, and we can go ahead and for those that can support Little Rampage. She's all over social media. She's not hard to find. She's not hard to find. I know also I want to bring up um, Girl Fight, um, Girl Fight Next Door had the
Hmm.
matches, everything completed through a whole list between Jersey, Aris, um, um, and a couple of new people, and one that
Yep.
was a surprise, a
Yep.
very nice surprise. So yeah, so shout out to Johnson Rojas. He's really been grinding. It just and he's just hitting it right now. It seems like a lot of the stuff you touch comes out the gold. And
Hmm.
most producers, you have that run where it's like it starts to flow and everything starts to come together. The girls come in determined, ready to work, and you just it's like gravy. It's like gravy. So it's really an exciting time. It could be a real exciting time. Yeah. So you got anything else new that's out there?
Not really. Of course, not too much. Too much. Let's say there's some other stuff on the side, but I can't say too much on it. Nothing's materialized. We have
Okay.
people having beef, but I'll leave that for the sidebar. Not here.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay then. Well then that don't count as news then. But
Yep.
ladies and gentlemen, we would like to bring in. We have a special guest tonight, and all the way from Canada via um, Kenya, we have here Abidu 88. And some of y'all would know him from on X, but he is Jason, the creator of Black Beauty Brawlers. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for a beautiful call show reaction from the call show. Jason,
Hi,
thank you for
everybody.
being on the show.
Nice
Just want
intro,
to say
man. You
thank
you
you so
fooled me.
much. Thank you
That's
so
one thing I
much.
love
Nice to
about
meet
my
you
son.
guys.
Yes, yes. So let's get right to it. How did you even get an interest even into this zany world that we call catfighting?
Oh my God, I've been a Catfight fan probably, well, I'm going to be 48, or I am 48 now, so I've been a Catfight fan for almost 30 years. Um, it it literally progressed. I got to this point honestly because I found ordering customs from Americans too expensive. The Canadian dollar is horrible, and it was getting ridiculously expensive to order custom videos, and it was just defeatingly and that's sometimes demoralizing, I guess, just because just with the exchange rate for that simple reason, it just the prices were getting too much. So, one day I was looking around on Instagram and I found these beautiful women and they offered to make some videos and I mean, I fell in love with their asses, and it went from one video every couple of weeks to a couple of videos a month, and then all of a sudden I'm like, these are sexy videos. I look around and I see what's on the internet, and I'm like, I don't see why we can't compete with some of this stuff out here. And that's how it happened.
But I have to say, you're probably the I guess as they would say in producing terms, the hottest producer in the game right now. You know, is matter
Agreed.
of fact, you and and Johnson Rojas, your Canadian brother, right now. I think you're on the east side of the country. He's on the west
West.
because I know
Yep.
he's like near Vancouver somewhere. So you two right now, y'all really holding it down for North America. Take away you
Pretty
two,
much.
we this year with whoo,
It is dry this
it'll
year.
be
Well, I
it'll
mean,
be
when you look at it, it's been dry for a long time. Sweet fights has spoiled us. They come and go. Tillytown has represented well. I mean, I would hate to think what we would be looking at if it wasn't for Sarah Brooke. I think when she launched the scene, she kind of rejuvenated the
I
catfight
agree.
world and catfight fans.
yeah.
Definitely sweet fights. I don't think some of us would be here if it wasn't for him producing sexy shit. Like, who doesn't love watching girls pull hair and cat it out?
True.
Yeah, yeah. So, like I said, we all have that origin story. You know, I know for me, it was one of my friends had a wrestling magazine. Oh God, this dark ages. This had him in like 1990, 91. Because I'm 48 as well. So it was like
Okay,
1990,
sure.
91. Yeah,
I
and
remember
so
what getting
and,
those steel kitten advertisements in my magazines.
right, and that was my first exposure to it. Yeah, and so and but I didn't become like really an active participant of any sort really till like about '99. You know, once I got on to college and on my own and everything, and then just seeing how it's been this beautiful thing. You know, it's grown. It has its up and down. Like I say, it has its ebbs and flows, just like anything else. Um, yeah. So, what was the first tape that you bought, so to speak, or or the
That
one
I paid
the video
for.
you saw that got you? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it had to be Carrie Spectrum. I'm pretty sure I bought We Bring It, one of her first
Mhm.
fights with Jen. I'm pretty sure
Hmm.
those were one of the first videos I paid for. And between Carrie and Renee from Catfight Haven, those were like
Yep.
definitely my first. I mean, I dress my girls after them. I've always loved the way they dress and the way they look, and it
He's
just
speaking my language. That's how my catfight thing came into evolve. He mentioned the three of them. We bring it,
yeah,
ECN, WC, and catfight. Yeah, catfight heaven is one my introduction into the catfighting
Mhm.
started. If you
yeah.
want to be
So
serious.
Yeah.
I thought that was as good as life got, and then one day I stumbled across DWW, and uh, I
Yeah.
have well over 1,500 of their videos between DWW and Fighting Dolls. I've been a fan and bought religiously from them for 15 years now. Yeah,
Yeah. Because
their stuff excites me.
DWW, yeah, DWW, fighting dolls, fighting divas, Foxy Combat. That
Mm.
like it's different. It's a different beast.
Yeah,
Overseas, it's a different beast. Me and Clem, we've done, like I said, we've been blessed to do the show now 4.5 years. I remember
Yep.
one time we went on this whole thing and we took the 25 best women from the U.S. and went against like the 25 best women from Europe. Like Sarah Brooke, like you have different ones, Laura Cross, Sarah Brooke, different ones. They can hold their own. But by the time we get past maybe 15, we toast.
Yep. We toast.
And these past 10, 10 to
I was
15
gonna say
is where it
10.
gets.
Like
Yeah,
those Europeans over
10,
there, there's some tough girls and some hot women.
yeah. It's just that, but past that, I think we get slaughtered. You know, it's like who takes on Kim Lee? Me is like I don't know. You know,
Oh my God.
I don't know if I want to use Sarah Brooke up for Kim Lee. I would
Yeah.
Kim Lee
Well,
somebody else.
Sarah
I
Brooks
mean,
already having a hard time going up against Pamela.
she got
That's
her
another
ass
story.
absolutely kicked by Bianca. So and then she should retired shortly after that. So I mean, she was good against the Fighting Dolls, but I don't think she'd stand a chance in the. Well, I mean, I don't know, but Bianca dominated her.
This is true.
Okay, And Bianca's out of where? I'm trying to remember which one.
She originated out of IFW, and then
Okay.
she kind of started touring with Pamela from Foxy Combat, and
Yep.
those two just blew up. Like,
Yep. Pamela Foxy Combat. Now she's
yeah,
all over the place now.
yeah, they both of them
They
are.
both are.
Yeah.
IFW,
So
for people
just
who don't know,
trying to keep.
IFW is Italian female wrestling. That's what that
Hmm.
is.
Yeah, love their
Yeah.
work as
So like
well.
I said, they would just wax. They would just wax that on wax. It wouldn't be. It would not be pretty, especially if
Nope.
you go like by the Olympic model, like by points or something like that, or submissions. It would not be. It would not be pretty. They run up the score. They run up the score. Um. So now, now it's one thing being the fan and jumping into the zany world, but what made you take the jump into going into the producing side?
Fans, to be quite honest, when I first posted the first couple of videos, I received some pretty nice messages saying that, like literally they've waited their whole lives to see two black women fight. Now, it's not something you see very common. And
Hmm.
that's something that really motivated me to jump all over this because I realized that aside from Regan and Paris, that there's not very many black women represented. They don't get talked about. They don't get
True.
posted like the rest of them do. It's a shame because I love their work. Like they could be very dominant in the industry, but they just the opportunity is there, and that's why I love it. I love their bodies. That's what got me into it. I always loved the way Regan dressed for sweet fights.
Yeah, definitely do. Definitely do. Um, Clem, I'm not gonna ask all the questions. Clem, I'll let you ask the next couple.
Okay, I'm trying to think. So, when it comes to the recruiting, so what are your requirements when it comes to recruiting the girls? What are you looking for besides the physical features? What else are you? We already know that part, but what are you? What are your requirements?
I have absolutely no requirements at all. I've employed and given money to probably over 75 women. A lot of them had no ID, can't use their videos. It's tough over there. Living conditions, just the way things are. So I work directly with 4 or 5 girls, and they're the ones who do all the recruiting. They're the ones who bring me all the girls. I literally have no involvement whatsoever. I I take girls. We film a lot of people that just probably shouldn't be on film, but the girls want to help girls out, so that's what we do. And then it just started from going from there. Is some of the girls really popular, started to sell well, so we try to use them as best we can, but I still try to spread the wealth and keep as many girls getting some extra cash as best I can.
Okay,
Yeah, we thank you for that. We thank you for that. Um, I was. Oh yeah, go ahead, Clem. Sorry.
I'm trying to think of a question. You go ahead. I'm trying to think of one right now. Pop in my head.
Well, because one of the things I always like to ask producers, other producers, is like, what was like the biggest thing you learned from like the first set of productions to the next set? Like maybe it was lighting or attire or locale or you know. I will say the group, like I would say, you're probably the most unique producer that we've had. We definitely had on the show because of the way of how you have the organization structure. You know, that you had actually beautiful luck in finding people who can actually recruit ladies who was willing to do it to the best of their ability, and just, I mean, putting out quality content. Because if it's not good, it's not going to sell. And so to have that eye for them to catch and know what to look for, I don't know if it was something that whether you kind of steered them there or whether it's just all blind luck.
Well, it's 100% blind luck. Um, when I found my first girl, Shika, I found her because she was more aggressive than the rest of the girls, and then she found other girls were equally as aggressive. And it's like I would order play fights, and they almost look like real fights to me. So that's when I started making the comparisons between what we could offer compared to, say, fighting dolls. That's kind of the way I built things. And then a couple sponsors found us and asked us to do real cat fights. So we talked to the girls, and I wouldn't say it's something that they look forward to or want to do, but they'll fight for sure. They love it. Some of these girls are literally coming back every other day asking for more work, more fights. It's a couple of them quit their regular jobs and do this full time now because they can make more doing this in a week than they did in a month. So it's
Hmm.
changed many girls. You go look at clips for sale. Look at how many companies are out of Kenya now. Like there's people that
Hmm.
have jumped on the wagon, or and it is popular. You know, people fans are. We none of us would be here if it wasn't for fans. If people weren't buying our stuff, people didn't like it, well, we wouldn't be here.
Hmm. Yeah. I know the thing that I will say about that how it just went because for the uninitiated they'll say, "Oh my God, he just came out of nowhere and just untapped market." I think the market has always been there. It's just that, like you said, you have to have a little bit of luck and you have to have contacts and resources, and just to make it work, especially getting the wheel turning. And once it started going down the track, it pretty much draws itself. And I have to commend you for that because one of the things I will say, especially in this country, that if you look at most of our legendary producers, whether it's EC, WNC, whether it's um, Catfight Renee, Shy Renee, um, the vast majority of us, Fat Farah, Sweet Fights, it seems like getting where
Crystal
You
around
Films,
got to
40,
throw out East Coast Cats.
East Coast
East
Cast,
Yeah,
Coast
Crystal
Cats,
Films.
yes, yes, Crystal Film. It's like something about that 30 to 40 mark. Trying to get past 40, 40 to 50 is like the ceiling because either whoever is your primary girl that you start with, there's no one else to either delve all that off. Like for example, like it's almost like you can think of for every cat fight promotion, you can think of one girl that boom. Like if I think of Soul I'm thinking of Mary. If I'm thinking of, you know, We Bring It, We Bring It is one of the few I can think of about three. I'm
Yep,
thinking of
see,
Dragon
you
Lily,
tell me Way
Dragon
Bring It, I
Lily.
still always think of Jen and Carrie.
yep. Jan, Carey, Dragon Lily. Those are the three I think of.
For me, it was always going to be Dragon Lily for me, and
Gotcha.
Tomiko. Um, yeah, so for me, yeah, they're one of the few that you can pick about 4 or 5. But
Hmm.
most everybody else, Catfight Jen, it was Jen.
Hmm.
Um, Holly was Catfight Angel. Vira
Yep,
was, with her outfit, you know. Even with Crystal Films, you had the Leslie girl, the blonde headed girl that everyone
yep.
wanted to see either lose or win. It's like she was very polarizing, but she
Hmm.
had the style that people enjoy watching. So I mean, and even with Sweet Fights, you had, that's how I first came to know Tilly, and I knew of Reagan before that bouncing around with other promotions. But yeah, it's like it is interesting how, of course, Sarah Brooke, I knew of her through Fat Pharaoh. That's how I
Hmm.
first came to know about Sarah Brooke. And then, of course, you had the Sexy Wives and the lyrics and
Yep.
different ones, like you said, Paris. Now, they may have fought more than 30 fights, but as far as like the actual company themselves, I mean, short of an APL run, I don't know anybody that's pushing out as much content as you guys are. Like right now, it's who else is? It almost reminds me of the days of Asian Connection.
Mm.
I don't know if you remember that run years ago when Asian Connection had this run. Like it was like almost like a 3 year run where it was like they was popping out stuff like every couple of weeks. There was another magazine. There was another video out. And so, like I said, kudos to you guys in the system. I would say when I first saw Sheikah, she was the one I was like, okay, this is the like if
Same
you can
here,
hang with
buddy.
her,
That's
mm-mm.
exactly what got me too.
Yeah, so she can. Sometimes you just need that one person, and then when you have the Essas and the Esthers and the Abby's and all of them. They start, and then Jenny. No, yeah, Jenny came along.
Yep.
And now you got Terry. You got different girls now. The Cynthia. Oh my God, Cynthia and the what
My man
was
about
it?
to lose
Cynthia.
names in a minute. There's only so many people you can name,
Yeah,
man. But we get your point. Sheikah was
yeah,
definitely
Fun.
the
from the last
originator of
tournament, the
this.
very first fight of the last tournament. For me, that was like a
uh,
holy grail moment for me.
Vonnie. Talking about Vonnie.
Giovanni. Yes,
So
I was
you
like,
guys left
oh
out my
my God.
best-selling girl, who would be Annie. You can thank Annie and her big beautiful tits. She sells more videos than
Yeah.
half the
Yep.
roster put together.
I've noticed that. Yep.
So
Really?
if you
He's
guys
Interesting.
want
not
to
wrong.
talk
He's not
about
wrong.
who carries the franchise, it would be Annie and Essa.
He's not
Yeah.
wrong. If you look at all those all the cells, you will see it. It seems like she's the main uh
She
person that everyone
she's on
gets.
pregnancy leave right now, and when she comes back with those big milky tits, you can guarantee that we'll be back at the top of the charts.
Yeah. The,
Yeah,
the thing that I
she's a
would say
big,
about,
very popular.
I think the thing about Annie that I think that was, and I didn't really pay attention to it till now. You just said it. Is like she was in, like she was the one person that fought anybody anytime. She could
Mm,
match up with anybody anytime,
mm,
whether he was tall, small, little, big. It didn't matter because it seemed like certain girls had certain problems, like if they was way bigger than them, or smaller than them,
Mhm.
or even the type of matches.
mhm.
It's like some girls is like, okay, well, tit fights it's just not gonna work.
Mm.
And then others where it's like, okay, but Annie was one that could do it all. She could do all of them and do all well. So yeah, so I was like, wow,
Incredibly
Annie.
passionate. She's one of the girls, along with Jenny, that literally love, eat, sleep this business. They would fight every day if they could.
Yeah.
Jenny definitely strikes me as that type.
Yep.
Jenny, Jenny, because I think the first fight I saw with her when she fought Sheikah, and then it was like a being dragged out to the deep moment. It's like every fighter, I don't care where you've been on the list. You can be a Sarah Brooke. You can be, although with Sarah, yeah, I have to think about with Sarah. I know that fight she had with Myra on Pat Farrell was kind of a, yeah, that was a,
Well, they had
Yep.
different rules and stuff. They didn't. That wasn't
yeah, they
fight
had different
fight. You
rules.
know,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
had things that they wouldn't let the girls do and stuff.
Yeah.
Sarah's
True.
been the most
Right.
talented woman I've seen come across the internet in 10, 15 years. So
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, and it's like Sarah. Yeah, I would say outside of her, everybody and Sexy Wife definitely.
Yeah. Those two.
I think Sexy Wife to me was probably the best pure talent. I think
Agree.
for someone who did not practice this, this is not what they. It was just her mat awareness was just off the chart. Was just off the charts. Um,
yeah,
she
yeah,
was able
she was
to
hot,
do stuff. I
fun to
was like,
watch.
Not only was she hot, she was just dominant. She just knew what to do against other people. It didn't
it
matter
was
if it
just
was Gia, his parents. Didn't matter. She pretty much
little
she pretty much
rampage. Didn't
dominated
matter.
when she was on when she was on the match. She knew what she was going to do, how to hurt people. That's an animate what you call it ability that not every cat fighter can use. It comes with experience.
Yeah, the one fight we was robbed of it, her and Larry.
Yeah, we
That
were
still
definitely
would have been
robbed of that
classic.
fight.
Now, that's one thing I will say about your girls down there. It's like shorter pregnancy, it's like they at some point you gonna run up on everybody. Everybody gonna on you one or the other.
True.
They seem to do a very good job of that. And then I'm noticing now more once you have your niche and stuff going, which I would think was it seems like between the tit fights and the real cat fights seem to
Yep.
be those are like the dueling
Yep.
things, which is good because
Hey, you'd
most
think that,
places
wouldn't you? But you'd be surprised how popular the catballing
really
stuff is. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
really
Really.
Yeah, yeah, really, 100%. But it's tit fights would be about 25%. The real cat fights are about 25%. The cat balls are about
oh,
25%. And then everything else evens out the rest. But Yeah, you
Really?
a couple of those rolling around videos where they literally just roll back and forth. Like I had about 20
I
times the
never.
sales. Me either, bud.
I guess some
Me
sponsors
either.
like the catballing thing. I never been into that
That
kind of thing
blows my mind.
because
It
I'm
blew
like,
my mind
I
too.
never could.
Yeah.
I never could get into the capital. I never
neither can I.
understood what was the point of it. Just rolling around. I'm like, okay, you're rolling around. And
It's all
I
about the
didn't understand what the
angles to
objective was.
them. It's all about the
Okay.
angles and
All the
the
angles.
positions and the how the breast on the breast looks and it's just like how WWE functions and how scripted like if you look on clipster
Mhm.
scale, scripted videos are 50% of the top all the time.
He
So
is right. I
it's
can't get into.
definitely a
I'll
market
admit.
that you just don't think is there, but it is
I admit
there.
I can't get into scripted videos. But you are right. It's becoming the world of fighting is becoming more and more scripted, more and more scripted every week. Every week is
Yeah.
or every month is more scripted stuff,
Yeah,
and that's what the
Which leads over.
producers consumers want these days. Now,
yeah.
I'm
So
bumfoggled. That's a
I
word I created on the show. Bumfoggled.
yeah,
Um.
Hannah and Sharon or Shah, she's on there. They did about 4 videos and for probably a good 2 months dominated the charts. Like it was, they outsold the real cat fights by a margin.
one thing I've noticed about your girls is they're so yeah. All your fights are now that they're real. They're very very physical. It's like I like how the storylines build up. Is how one girl was in another group was in another club, and then they all get together, and then I like
Yep,
the
pitch it out.
storyline.
Yeah, it's there has to be some real animosity, that's for sure. Sometimes I'm glad I'm not there to be filming because sometimes things get out of control and I get messages and I want to fight this bitch
Yeah.
now and it's yeah,
Yeah.
it's a real business for
So
sure.
yeah. So or the part of the business I never really cared for, which I call it the talent relations.
Yep.
It's like herding cats. Sometimes it's like herding cats. Like, come on,
Yeah,
keep up
yeah.
my line.
I commend both of you
Every
Wow.
guys for I commend both of y'all for that. Finding talent is
And
very his finding talent is very very difficult. So I commend you guys for trying to get other people to bring in the talent, and then you just go in there just shooting
herding
all
cats.
that.
And then I guess the other thing with the time zone difference, how much of that does that play into, the production process? Because I guess my understanding is once they shoot it, they still got to upload it and send it to you. And I guess with now with everything in Dropbox, Google Drive, and everything, they can just just load up the raw video and you work your magic, take it from there, pretty much.
That's exactly what
Is that
happens. The time
okay?
zone, they're 7 hours ahead of me. And they have all their instructions. They know what they're doing now at this point. The money they get sent ahead of time, and they send me the videos. Our biggest obstacle in terms of production is weather. They suffer from blackouts probably several days a month, if not weeks at a time. Last week we
Hmm.
had I think 7 to 10 days of straight blackouts. Like
Hmm.
no way to charge their cell phones. Like it's a real deal when you see how their
Wow.
living conditions and just stuff that they have to live with that's common. That's I couldn't imagine going a couple hours without power, let alone a couple days, and it's common. So
Yeah,
that's
people don't
probably
understand
the only
how it
obstacle.
is around the people don't understand how it is in Africa. It's the weather is like up and down. You have your periods when it's raining, and then you have your periods when it's hot, and you have your periods when it's windy. So
Yep.
you never know what
Yeah,
you're gonna
like
get.
streets flooded last year. Like girls weren't able to get to our filming location because of the flooding. And yeah, there's a period where the weather causes more production issues than anything.
Which is another obstacle that you have to work around. Besides finding a location for the girls to fight in, and then all that other stuff, you gotta make sure you have the production cameras and everything. Got to be
Yeah.
on point.
I
Yeah, when
would
it comes
say
to the
whoever's doing
BFMs,
your
I
camera
know you got a
work,
lot of customs. How many customs do you get a week per a week to be shot?
It varies. There'll be some weeks where I'll get 4 or 5, and then there'll be several weeks where you don't hear from anybody at all.
Mm.
It's very sporadic. I mean, I get it. Customers aren't cheap. So I was a customer myself for many, many years. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I wasn't. I only ever bought videos. You can thank Tilly and Lyric. They're the ones that popped my custom cherry. I
Yep.
sponsored a video between them a couple times. They're my first little taste. And then I sponsored one with Lyric and my all-time favorite, Carrie. So that was a dream come true for me. And then here we are 5, 6 years later now.
Who would be? Is there someone in the business? I guess whether it's through a custom or what have you, that you have worked with, or you would love to work with, or would love to do a collab, or have them. Well, they're not gonna go to Africa to go fight, but who
Well, yeah,
knows? But then
sure. I
again,
mean, hypothetically, I would want Regan, 100%. Just for the simple fact that she's hot, she's got the body the same as all our girls, and I'd have at least 6 or 7 of them lined up for her to go through. Similar to like I
right.
guess what you see IFW does, where they have these girls come in and fight all their girls.
Yep.
So if I had to pick one girl for sure, it'd be Regan.
Okay. Who would be the first person of all the girls would you want to see her go up against? I know who I would want to see her go up against. I can think of
Me too.
two. Oh, I can think
Well,
of three.
yeah, I mean, like I said, I have a couple girls. The first one, I'd probably put her up against either. I'd probably go with Terry. Terry's a trash talker. She loves to fight. She gets out of control all the time. This one,
Facts.
I think she'd be very entertaining for sure. And if not her, then Jenny be my next choice.
Go ahead, Claus. I have a couple. He said one of mine's already, so I have a couple.
I mean, it's to me. I don't think it can go wrong. I mean, from just put it in the hat and just pull out a name and let luck, let fate decide. I'd say it's really making it spicy. Let fate decide because best believe all the girls will want to have their own crack, or whatever. But
Yeah.
I was just like, man, just let fate decide, and whosoever will, that's all right, ball in because I mean Reagan done fought them all from girls as big as Carrie and
Yep.
as small as
Yep.
so it
I remember when
them
she first flattened Misty Lovelace.
Yep.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yep.
that was a mouth-watering video. That one.
Yeah. As for me, I have definitely against Sheikah. I want to see how that turns out between those two.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
And
Yeah.
then, of
That.
course, and I agree with you on Terry. So yeah, I definitely agree with you on those. Those two, it'd be interesting. Her and Sheikah are about almost the same height, almost about the same weight. So that would be interesting.
No, Sheikah is a little bit smaller than her weight wise.
Gotcha. But still,
Wow.
you can see.
But I would say from a fighting spirit standpoint, Sheikah and I think me personally, even though the thing about Ann is because Ann is out right now, but um I think she could just because she was the me for me when it comes to the real cat fight was that catalyst, and it was just I think she deserved to have the first shot. That's just me.
Mm,
We're gonna go by deserving. That's just me.
mhm.
But um, but you got a different
Well,
one.
I
Um,
you wouldn't hear me complain with that choice either. Like I said,
Nope.
Sheik is the reason I'm here. I fell in love with the way she looked in her panties, and she always came to fight. There was no dicking around. I'd never had to worry when I was asking just to watch them to cat it out. Like she performed. It was much
'cause-
more exciting than the typical video.
right,
Yep. I'm trying to think.
Clem.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Okay. I'm trying to think. So we covered pretty much just about everything. I'm trying to see what else I can think of. Hasn't come up yet.
Well, I was gonna ask my favorite sport versus fetish question.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So do you make catfight more of a sport or more of a fetish?
Well, no, for me, it's 100% fetish. I mean, the real reason I don't produce a lot of real cat fights is I don't like seeing girls get hurt. Kind of, it's not something that excites me at that point when girls are getting hurt. So
Mhm.
that's why I won't do any of the fist fighting stuff. I try to keep it as, catty and I want to watch girls next door fighting in their underwear. That was my fantasy. That's what I like to see. That's what I like to produce.
Hmm. Yeah, because I always looked at it as more of a sport from the standpoint of the uncertainty principle of it. You know, that on that day, who just, to me, I just looked at it as more of a, um, like the better fighters,
Hmm.
you get more money and you get more opportunities. And
Oh, for sure. I've
hence the
been
tournament.
incredibly
That's why.
surprised by some girls' performances. Girls who don't look like they could fight at all, like Bonnie would be the perfect example. Her and Cynthia have been two of my best-selling girls for since they got here.
Hmm.
You watch any of their fights, you'd think they were fighting for real every time. It gets pretty intense. So uh, they're just as ferocious as Essa. I call Cynthia Skinny Essa. Essa fights anybody, anywhere, anytime. Always has. Essa would fight every day of the week if I had girls and money for her.
Okay, so now I think I figured out. So basically, you just want girls who are catty. Yeah, you just want girls that are catty and that are, get after it, no messing
For
around, get down to the business. I
for sure,
figured it out finally.
you can tell after watching a couple of videos who gets it, like understands what men want to watch. And then you see the girls that are just here. They're not sure what it is. They're shy, they're timid, they smile during the videos, stuff like that. Like, yeah, I may pump out a lot of content, but don't really. I have several videos that don't sell at all. So there's that aspect of it. Like, I'm not rich and famous because every single video is pumping stuff out. No, we're carried
Mm.
by some of our videos and some of our girls, and like I said, I'm here to help as many ladies as I can. That's why the wealth gets spread around. So
Right. And I know that has to be, yeoman's work because it's not easy, trying to judge which ones, that goes. And like you said, people have to give the effort. Because the one thing I don't do is I don't coach effort. If I got to coach
True,
effort,
true.
it's time to get out.
You
For
shouldn't.
me,
You shouldn't. I agree with
it's
you.
yeah,
like,
Effort is one thing that should be required, right?
yeah, yeah,
Required. We shouldn't be coaching you. That's something that should be, expected. If you
yeah.
don't have
well,
effort, then you're in the wrong sport or wrong fetish.
I would say probably at least after the first fight or the first fight,
Yeah, after the first
because
fight.
that
I'm
first
sorry.
time that's
After the
the
first.
biggest. I would ask any fight, anytime we've had fighters on there, I always would ask what is the biggest, because the biggest growth of any fighter has been between the first fight and the second fight.
Mhm.
Because when you get to that second fight, you now can pace. Because the first fight is just like anything else. You got so many things you're thinking about. You think about stuff dealing with the fight, and then you think about stuff that has nothing even to do with the fight. Like, how am I gonna get home? Or, or do I have a water bottle? You start because when you start talking to fighters, you start realizing the stuff the mental part of it is what they be thinking about, and then after they do a fight or two, they're like, okay, they just know how to compartmentalize, lock in, and then once the fight's done, all right, well, let me go, do something else. To me, it's like once you get past that first, second fight, you may have to coach them up as far as what they're looking for. But the thing I would think, Abby, is Jason, you guys have so much content now that she could just be like, here, this is what we're looking for, X, Y, Z. And the
Mhm.
girls are either, okay, they do it or not. You know, that's just
And,
me. That's what it looks like now when seeing some of the later stuff and previews and stuff that you
mhm.
have out. It's like whatever, and I must commend you on this. The ratio of what you write in the description and what actually you actually see is like hand in glove. And I have to commend
Correct.
you on that because a lot of
Correct.
times you can write on there, okay, this is what we wanted it to be, and then by the time it gets to the process and it comes out, it's like, it might have been that for like maybe 90 seconds of a 20-minute fight, what they wrote. But no, the way you write your descriptions and stuff, that's pretty much what it's going to be from start to finish. You
Very
know,
accurate description,
um,
pretty much. You know what you're
Well,
gonna get
I
when you
have
buy
to
the
commend
video.
you on that.
well, you'll have to
I have to
commend my
commend
partner on that because I had to enlist a script writer because I guess I lacked the intellectual uh, intelligence to write eye-catching scripts. I found when I was writing them, they were just so I had to get some help. He writes with tremendous passion. He was actually my biggest supporter, my biggest customer. He paid a lot of money, and so now I get him to write reviews because he has loved us from day one. And you can look in my feeds when I started using him as a script writer, and that's when I believe it
you.
directly related to my sales increase for sure.
Yeah,
I have to commend you
that's
on.
you.
I have to commend you on getting people around you that know what they were what know what they're doing. So I will commend you on that. That's one thing
Yeah,
that most people don't do well. It's like if you can only do so many things, you can only do so many things. If you got to get people that build you strengths. You're straight in this one. I'm not good in this one. Let me delegate to this person. They might be better than better than me in this situation. So I commend you on that.
I
and
was
I
too
would just say,
busy. It
even just
was
speaking for, and I would just
uh,
say, even speaking for myself, I think I could have been a lot further ahead if I had gotten to that point where was if I had gotten to that earlier, maybe yeah, earlier, just maybe 2, 3 years earlier. No telling where we could have had our own bubble as a whole. But it's like once I started realizing I can't do everything. And there's some things I know I do extremely well. Like when it comes to different cameras and lighting and the actual technical aspects of it, gear, editing, because that's what I do in real life. Um, that part was never. It's just dealing. Okay, now you got to deal with the talent relations of stuff that has nothing to do with shooting. Um, that was the stuff where it was like, because there was times I'm like, man, I wish I had someone. I wish I had someone. Because even my best runs was ones where the girls was recruiting themselves. Like everybody had either a roommate or a cousin or next to kin, and next and next. You
yeah.
know, that would pop in. And sometimes some of my better fights was ones where someone who was just coming along, um, and they ended up jumping in, and it ended up being a beautiful production. And so the serendipity of it. So, um, yeah, so I understand the challenges of I probably got more fights in the can. I don't know what your ratio is, but I'm sure with a lot of producers, we got more fights in the can than fights that we actually release because it's just just because of just the
Yeah,
uncertainty from
you
schooling
don't
out
want to
with us.
put it out there because you're embarrassed of what the final product was. Yeah, sure, of course. I get
Right.
that. It's happened for
Clem, I
sure.
think
There's been some videos where it just didn't work.
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, that was pretty much it. That's all the questions I had, man. I'm
Yeah,
just honored, like I
I
said.
only have one more question. So I know
Okay.
Claus always tells me the life of producers and all that stuff and how it's stressful and how y'all run over time and all that stuff. So I need you to, for the fans, for the real fans, how's it life being a producer? Because you have to get now that you have to get the cameras ready. You gotta make sure the setting is the site is there and everything. So I need an inside view. I already got it from him. I need an inside view from your point of view.
I can't tell you because I'm not there. I'm not actually on site to film it. And what's life like as a producer? I mean, I look at naked women all day. It's not really that tough. Is it time consuming? Yes. Especially first starting, just the language barrier, making sure they understood certain moves, certain things to do. But now that things are rolling, it's not very time consuming at all. I probably spend more time answering people who never bother to order a custom than anything. Just probably people wasting time or people snooping around seeing what I'm doing, just stuff like that. I'd say that takes more time than anything right now at this point.
That's all the questions
Yeah,
I
the
have, man. I'm
system, many
pretty much
hands
done
being like
too.
Yeah, because as my grandmother would say, many hands make light work, and because like even for like somebody like Monica back in the day when she used to do stuff with Anna with APL, and then Monica went and did her own thing, and then with Anna and APL. Anna is, not unlike you, is now it's like she got people from all different parts of the countries, different countries filming and sending stuff in, and you know, this she's not doing as much of the grunt work like she used to, having to do all answer all the emails and then shoot and then do yeah, she's not doing all that anymore. And she is now become its own entity. So like I said, salute and kudos to use her. And kudos to use her. And I am putting up, ladies and gentlemen, for those if you somehow has been under a rock, because I think as we talked pre-show, I think you said when you first came out, I think it was Gumroad and the end of 2023, and then you
Yep,
came on the clips for sale like 2024.
correct. And then Loyal Fans, I
Yeah,
opened in
this
August of 24.
okay. And so I have here on the screen where you can find him and all the beautiful ladies, black beauty brawlers. And why is there no W in the brawlers? Is there some kind of like um I mean there's women, so I guess they take the W or the win or something, or I didn't know if you had like maybe some kind of
Well, to be honest, it was a theory that I always had when I first met Lyric. I loved their work. I always wanted to work with Lyric, and I had the idea of calling them the Basement Brawlers because Lyric always filmed in their basement. So I took the pun and took out the W because bra, like the women wear, because as you saw in the videos I ordered with them, they always started in their black bra and panties. So that's where the bra lures came from. Is I like the girls starting in their bra and panties.
cool,
Interesting
cool.
concept.
Yeah, sure. Interesting. Yeah, because I'm sure there's a story.
Yep, there was. You
There's-
can you can thank Adam and Lyric where the term brawlers came from. That's where that part came from.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, Adam and Larry, friends of the show, friends of the show.
Definitely friends of the
Well,
show.
ladies,
Reagan, friend
well,
of the
ladies,
show too. And Tilly. Both of them,
yes,
all of them, friend of the show.
All big
yes,
influences of why I'm here today, especially Tilly as well. She made some great videos for me.
yeah.
All right. Uh,
Thanks so
All
much for
right,
your
well,
time,
we're
guys.
gonna do the sidebar with our special guest, but we're going to go ahead and run our credits. I'm gonna let Clem go first.
yep. I can be reached at Clem underscore Akufa on IG and Clem Akufa at X, formerly Twitter,
Wait a
whatever.
minute, hold on. Yeah, okay, there we go. Trying to get this thing. Yes, and then of course with me, yes, I still have it for another week. Wait a minute, where's my?
Yeah, we'll talk more about
Wait a
that
minute, I got
on the
mine
sidebar.
showing. Yes, my bad, my bad, my bad. That was mine. Yours. Click. It seems
Yes.
like this
Yep.
thing has a mind of its own today.
Yep.
I just think it's the connection where I'm at. So yeah,
Correct.
so and that comes and I put mine up.
With that being
Next
said,
episode
people,
is what? May 14th, I believe.
yes. Yeah, I think is it May 14th? 7.
May 14th.
Are we
May
sure? I thought it
14th
was
is
May
the next
12th.
episode. Or you might be right. Can you look that up real quick? I'm trying to make sure this
I
thing is
think it's May
not.
12th because Cinco de Mayo is Saturday.
You're right. Cinco de Mayo is on Monday. Yeah, so it is May 12th. You're
Yep.
right. It
Next show
is
is
May
May
12th.
12th, people. And
May 12th.
as y'all know, normal time business,
And I
people.
can't even post it because it won't even let me post it.
It's
Keeps
okay. I got you.
blocking.
Don't worry about it. That's what I'm here
Yeah.
for. We got you. 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, people. 8:30 Central time. 6:30 Central time, people. I mean Pacific time. On my days. Anyways, for myself, Clement Akufo, for my guy Klaus Webb, our special guest Jason or Abby Do, however you want to call it. We are out. Have a good night, everyone. Peace.
Ciao.
Right. Ooh.